two caves, one in a national park, one in a national forest. One epic underground rivalry. Think Batman versus Superman, Hatfields versus McCoys, Lamborghini versus Ferrari, Red Sox versus Yankees, Celtics versus Lakers. Perhaps less known, but with more stalactites and less animus. There are over 200 known caves in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks. But how many can you actually enter? Just two, Crystal Cave and Boyden Cavern. And you can't just waltz in. Both are only accessible via guided tours. Light jackets on, flashlights off. The guides do all the illuminating, literally and figuratively. And if you ask the guide at one cave about the other cave, they'll look at you like you just asked if Yosemite was in Arizona. Note for our more distant viewers, it's not. There's a definite friendly rivalry going on. Think Pepsi versus Coke, if both sodas required reservation and noticeable uphill hikes. Crystal Cave makes you earn it. A half-mile hike down to the entrance with a 300-foot elevation drop. I have a feeling this is going to be less fun coming up than it is going down. It's beautiful, it's shaded, and yes, you'll think about that climb back up. Boyden Cavern, on the other hand, is basically roadside. Park at the Kings Canyon Scenic Byway right before you cross the river. Walk about a quarter-mile uphill, gaining 125 feet, and boom, there you are. No sweat, or at least less sweat. Unless, of course, it's July like our visit. Then bring the deodorant. Industrial strength. The entrance to Crystal Cave is guarded by a giant iron spiderweb gate. No, it's not haunted. Yes, it looks like it might be. It was closed for 5 years, first because of COVID, then a wildfire that torched the access road. By the summer of 2025, it finally reopened, and it's been worth the wait. The tour path is shaped like a lollipop. You go in, do a loop at the junction room, and come back the same way. Total walking time, around 45 minutes of stalactite staring bliss. We get to pass through enough tight passages to feel like you're exploring a cave, but never gets too tight. It's as much fun as you can have just walking around, because you definitely feel like you're in a special place. The highlights, 4 major rooms. Junction room, the start of the loop portion of our tour. Choose your own adventure, not quite, but it feels like a fork in the fantasy road. We had a couple of tourists to try to blend into our group so they could take another lap around the cave. Watch for these double loopers. Organ room. Delicate flowstone formations that look like frozen music. Don't study your Grey's Anatomy before going. This is named after a pipe organ. Dome room, also known as the Dragon's Den. It features a large stalagmite surrounded by flowing stone resembling a well-known national capitol building. The room also has dramatic lighting, shadowy corners. Those rocks on the wall only look like a dragon, we hope. There is even a fairy pool here for you fantasy enthusiasts. Marble Hall, smooth sculpted rock that makes you feel like you're walking through a melted candy bar. The cave stays at a constant 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius, so bring a light jacket, even in August. You'll thank us. Boyden Cavern might be smaller, but it punches above its weight. Think of it as Crystal Cave's scrappy little cousin who learned karate. It's not neatly arranged as a loop like Crystal Cave. It's more of an in-and-out hike and doesn't feature large rooms. It feels much more intimate, with a path requiring more yoga to pass through. That said, there's still notable features such as large draperies, something called the Upside-Down City, a large rock feature known as the Pancakes, possibly sponsored by Mrs. Butterworth, many examples of cave bacon, just to keep up with the breakfast theme, and the Christmas tree. We still don't understand how this formation got its name. We may never know. It's an in-and-out tour, same path in, same path out, but there's a twist. We're here at the Groucho Marx Impersonators Conference. On the way out, you can opt to take the original natural cave entrance, stepping down to a rocky passageway that the original explorers used. It's a bit of a scramble, not for those concerned about twisting a knee or an ankle. It's a fun novelty people should consider trying it once, but the more modern entrance is much more scenic and nice to see in the opposite direction when you came in. How do these caves compare to some heavyweights like Carlsbad Caverns or Grand Canyon Caverns? Well, they're smaller, quirkier, in a way more personal. At Carlsbad, you ride an elevator out unless you're a complete masochist. At Crystal and Boyden, you hike in with a guide and decontaminate your shoes so you don't threaten the bats. To our knowledge, there isn't the bat exodus every night like Carlsbad, although we saw the same number of bats on our visit through Carlsbad as we did on each of these tours, exactly 0. Neither of these caves house a restaurant or a hotel room like you'll find in the Grand Canyon Caverns, nor is there a Cold War-era food stash to house a few hundred chosen survivors of a nuclear apocalypse. In a way, we're happy about that. In both Crystal and Boyden caves, group size is managed, so you can get a good photo. In fact, some spots, they'll wait so that everyone gets a chance to get their desired photo. Let's call it boutique spelunking. None of these compare to the underwater caving in the cenotes of Tulum, Mexico, but that involves a much more involved training commitment. So which one wins? Crystal or Boyden? Honestly, you should do both. Crystal Cave gives you a dramatic scale and sculpted marble chambers with a stream that's been running every time I visited, and Boyden gives you the thrill of scrambling through a natural entrance and a cozy feel of a cave tour without the cardio requirements of a death march. Either way, you're getting a first-hand look at a world most visitors to Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park never see. Just don't ask your tour guide about the other cave, unless you want an awkward pause and a quick change of subject. Cave rivalry, it's real, and it's underground. Like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Which cave would you choose to visit? And don't say Carlsbad, that's just cheating. Let us know if there's anything we missed in this comparison, and thanks for watching.